back with Jason Boast. We looked at his irons, now we're going to look at his driver. So Jason, what driver are you playing this year?
Taylormade Stealth 2, 9° plus head. Okay, I got fitted for the hazard as well. I'm using a 6.0 hazardous in it at the moment, hazardous black. It's nice, but obviously there's a nice little upgrade that I've been using, and it just makes the strike improve no end, really.
Okay, so this was in your bag originally.
Correct.
This was set up for you beginning of the season.
Yep.
Didn't quite like the feel of the shaft, or?
Well, actually, I've got it in the 3 in my rescue, and it feels amazing. Okay. It really, really works well in those. Okay.
What were you missing in this?
Just with the driver, it was the strike, finding the consistency of strike and control of the club face. My swing, Lewis will probably tell us a bit more, but my swing in transition, I'm quite sort of slow in transition.
Okay.
But I need something to feel really stable through impact. Obviously, again, my miss being left. Last thing I want to do is the club face turn over, that sort of stuff. So
as you weren't happy with the shaft, you said, well, come on, let's go and get our club builder, our super shaft guy, down from downstairs, and let's have a chat. So let's bring in Lewis. Lewis.
Hello.
Jason got you involved in his poor driving, okay? He wanted you to help him out. He was loving the 3-wood and the hybrid with this shaft, but there wasn't some quite right with the driver. So I've got the shaft that you fitted him for. Do you want to tell us why and what?
Yeah, sure.
Where did we get it from?
So Graphite Design's part of our upcharge model list. So particular model here, XC, stands for extra carry. It is designed very much as a kind of a low spin, low launch profile. So what Jason has been playing with is something that is a little bit stiffer under the handle, so it's great for your aggressive transitions like you guys have been saying about, but Jason's a bit more old school. So we want to fit him into something where he can just kind of unwind naturally, rather than feel like he's got to force it to get that shaft to be consistent. And just matching in that profile has just, 1, improved his strike, and 2, just improved all of his launch conditions.
Is that club head speed? Is that club head speed related, or is that a sequencing thing or a movement? Why? What I'm trying to understand is at what point did you say, well, that flex, that shaft, were you looking at TrackMan data and saying, well, he's 100 mile an hour with his driver, he needs this because, or was it something you saw in his movement or his swing?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both, to be honest. We don't rule everything just by clubhead speed. It's one of the things in golf marketing and fitting that's maybe been misunderstood quite a lot of the time. What we want to start out with is profile. So it doesn't matter whether you're swinging at Rory speed, at Jason speed, if you're swinging at kind of 50 miles an hour with your irons, it really doesn't matter where you sit, but we do need to match in your profile. So in the case of this one, we've got something a lot softer underneath the handle, so it's going to work really well if you're looking to, if you just got that kind of, that gradual unwinding, that transition, whereas if you're going to be putting a lot of kind of effort immediately into your transition, you want something that's generally going to be a bit stiffer up here, just to cope in with how much force you're putting into it. Not always the case, but certainly something that is a general rule for us, yeah.
Great. So Jason, obviously you went to Lewis, you weren't happy, you tweaked the club, you tweaked it. How's that performing for you now?
Much easier to hit. I've been struggling with the driver for a few years now, and I'm not saying it's just a shaft, it's a combination of my swing, we all know that, but all of a sudden it gives me a bit more confidence. I felt, like Lewis said, I have this slower transition, I often pause at the top of my swing, and it just helps that, and I could feel that softer handle. I know it sounds weird, I've never really felt it in many shafts before, but I've never really had someone help me with it that way, so it's been great.
Brilliant. So I think one thing to take away from this is not just the fact that the guys have changed shaft, they've worked together, and one thing that's always fantastic is these guys understand not only technology, but understand the golf swing, and matching those two things together with the help of TrackMan data and their knowledge really will help you make sure that the driver and the clubs that you get are really fitted for your golf swing.